Welcome back to the news at 10. Efforts to reconcile the two factions of the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress have suffered a setback as a faction led by Comrade Joe Ajero has accused the Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole of playing a divisive role in the reconciliation process. Labour veterans, including Comrade Hassan Sumonu, had led a reconciliation committee to address the disagreements between the two factions, each led by Comrade Ayuba Waba and Mr. Ajero, after the 11th Delegates Conference declared the former the new NLC president.
My office to the interest of Labour, because Labour is my primary constituency, governance is my secondary constituency. Any man who doesn't know where he's coming from won't know where he's going. So I cannot let support. And that was why immediately after the election, I did not only call the president on phone and send him a text, which will be between him and I decided... Comrade Adams Oshiomhole has come under fire since he addressed that press conference as a faction of the leadership of the NLC accused him of partisanship.
I would like to advise Comrade Adams that the movement he has built over the years, a movement that was also built and bequeathed to him, he should learn to bequeath the same movement to future generations. And he cannot do so through partisanship.
According to the unionists, the role of the governor and other external influence played during and after the 11th Delegate Congress has led to the crisis within the labor movement.
The role Adams played yesterday was not the role of a veteran. It may be the role of governor of Edo State. Whether the Edo people sent him to play that role is yet to be ascertained. Or the role of an APC member, whether the APC sent him to play that role in order to pocket from sections of labor, not to be vibrant, because he was alleged to have taken some people to some chieftains. That one is yet to be ascertained. But clearly, it wasn't the role of a veteran labor leader, because veteran labor leaders were seated somewhere and were expecting him, his elders in the movement. So I want to state on the basis of that, you could clearly see that as an external influence.
Meanwhile, Comrade Ayuba Waba, who was declared new president of the NLC after the 11th Delegate Conference in Abuja, insists on continuing with the reconciliation of aggrieved parties.
The external challenges are even more pronounced than the internal challenges, and therefore we have resolved to do everything possible, including a process of reconciliation, a process of speaking to our colleagues.
The 11th Delegate Congress of the NLC, which produced Comrade Ayuba Waba as president of the NLC, did not end without protests from some members who were dissatisfied with the process. This led to a parallel government led by Comrade Joe Ajero. Since then, efforts by former leaders of the labor movement to unite the body have failed.
Now, a fire disaster has been averted at the Murtala Mohammed Airport 2 in Lagos following the intervention of the airport managers after a tanker laden with diesel caught fire on the airport road. The tanker was reportedly conveying diesel from Apapa to a location in the Ogba area of the city when it suddenly burst into flames in front of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria headquarters. Water hydrants were promptly deployed by the management of Courtney Aviation Services Limited for the use by the firefighters from FAN to put out the fire, which left the tanker badly burnt. Firefighters from FAN were said to have hurried to the scene but could not do anything because there was insufficient water in their fire truck. The incident caused a heavy gridlock and diversion of traffic around the airport. Or plantain, a staple food in Bayelsa State consumed in large quantity by the indigents, may soon become a major revenue earner. This comes as the government has unveiled plans to organize the plantain market in the state. Our community report tonight takes a look at the potential of this crop in the state.
Etisala, now you're talking.
Bayelsa State has an abundance of loamy soil and is home to this food crop, plantain. As you approach the gate into the state, plantain growing amongst weed is the sight that welcomes you into Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital. It's not just the plant you see. The fruit of this plant is also always present at every corner. Aside from the plants flourishing in the fields, you also see vehicles filled with plantain either being taken to various destinations within the state or exported to other parts of the country. For a food crop that flourishes on her soil, Bayelsans have over the years made plantain a major part of their daily meal. Plantain can be prepared and eaten in different forms. It can be boiled, fried, grilled, or roasted. But make no mistake, whichever form plantain is prepared, especially when roasted and garnished with fish and pepper sauce, it's a meal most Bayelsans relish.
Ball is a food that we eat normally in this area. And for the fact that we produce plantain much in this area, and we are used to plantain. So some of us, we take it as our meal. And this is a normal joint that I usually come. I've been enjoying, at least this is one of the oldest joints in the state here.
Not everybody just jump in time, must to take you time for the main time. But the first day I start this market, all my fish born foods. The first day. No sabi and dance. No sabi.
Ed nutritionist Nkiru Obiozo sheds more light on the nutritional and medicinal benefits of plantain.
It's very rich in carbohydrates. It's very low in iron. It's also a rich source of potassium. And it's very good for diabetic patients in that the glycemic index of plantain is not high.
The high demand for roasted plantain has a positive effect on business as bulk plantain sellers have to constantly supply these vendors. At the moment, it looks like this Bolu business has not caught the eye of the Bayelsa state government as part of the state's economy, but the Commissioner for Agriculture, Thomas Commander, clears the doubts and reveals government's plans for the plantain business.
We have gotten in collaboration with experts who is setting up the structure to train our rural farmers so that each rural farmer, having been trained, will be able to rapidly produce many suckers of banana and plantain. And these banana and plantain suckers being produced will be disease-free. And therefore, once they are planted, the issue of disease infection and yield will be high.
For a plant that enjoys such patronage in Bayelsa state, it's expected that its potentials will be fully harnessed by both the government and private sector in order to boost the economic growth of the state.
Etisala, now you're talking.
All right, now Adeshawa Josh joins us with business news shortly.
First Bank. You first.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business News. I am Adeshawa Josh. A committee has been set up to brainstorm on how to actualize the Capital Market Master Plan report of the Securities and Exchange Commission. The committee was put together at the first quarter Capital Market Committee meeting, which took place in Lagos. At the meeting, several issues in the capital market, such as the direct cash payment, demutualization and dematerialization, were discussed, and other subcommittees were initiated on them for result-oriented reasons. The Acting Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Munir Guazo, said the next meeting of the committees is expected to produce results on some of the key issues that were discussed.
We want to see that when a client sells his shares, the proceeds are directly credited to his own account. When we start implementing that, we'll also be able to achieve the lower settlement period from what we have now, which is T+3. We now have maybe T+1 or T+2. Then we look at the issue of dematerialization in the market. This is an issue that has been ongoing for the last 10 years probably in the market. This time around, we look at it and we say, look, We just have to implement it. And we set up a small committee. Why we have set a committee is because there could be some legacy issues that needed to be addressed. And so the committee would report to the House at the next meeting. Another very important milestone is the Capital Market Master Plan. You will recall we launched it last year in November. Now, we feel we need to jumpstart the Capital Market Master Plan. And what we've done was to cascade it into different quarters. So what are some of the low-hanging fruits that we can do in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 9 months? So we presented to the House, and the House was very happy, very excited that we were looking at things that are easily, that can easily be done. And we presented to the House, and the House accepted. So in the next 2-3 months, we should be able to address some of the low-hanging ones. And by the time we come to the next CMC, we report to them, this is what we have done.
All is now set for the second edition of the NSE Corporate Challenge, a walk, run or jog initiative of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and it is aimed at creating awareness and raising funds for the fight against cancer. The annual program is in collaboration with the Committee Encouraging Corporate Philanthropy and is scheduled to hold on May the 16th at Onikon, Lagos. At a briefing with journalists in Lagos, NSE's head of Corporate Services Division, Bola Adeoko, reveals that the initiative has already yielded 12 million naira in donation towards the establishment of a cancer center.
This event is the second edition of a NSE Corporate Challenge race, which started last year with a target of trying to do two things, working with CECP, which is the Community Encouraging Corporate Philanthropy, to do two things: raise awareness level around the scourge of cancer, as well as raise funds to purchase mobile screening centers that we strongly believe would help reduce the mortality rate. So between the effort leading up to the event and the follow-ups donations that had come in through CECP as well as the exchange, I think we're looking at about 12 million naira total. But to put it in proper context, for each of those mobile screening centers, they cost about $600,000 US dollars, which if you translate it to the current exchange rate, you're looking at about 120 million naira. So you can tell that while there's been some market progress made, there's still a long way to go.
I'm sure looking forward to the challenge. Now, a total of 369,485 jobs were created across all sectors of the Nigerian economy in the last quarter of 2014. That's according to the 2014 fourth quarter job creation survey report recently released by the National Bureau of Statistics. Given a breakdown of the figures, the Bureau says 138,026 were recorded in the formal sector, 4,387 in the public sector, and 227,072 in the informal sector. Under the formal sector, the survey indicates that establishments owned by sole proprietors accounted for the highest number of jobs created, with 2,725 establishments. A further breakdown of the new jobs by economic sector shows that the education sector generated 54,729 jobs, manufacturing sector created 31,501 jobs, while the wholesale and retail trade sector added 10,659 jobs. Shell Petroleum Development Company has blamed sabotage for the Kolo Creek oil spill in Bayelsa State. According to a statement released by Shell, the leak at the oil field discharged a large volume of crude into the environment on 15th of April this year. The company says an investigation team led by the National Oil Spill Detection Regulatory Agency and Department of Petroleum Resources visited the site on April the 16th and found that unknown persons had cut out a section of the metal protection of the manifold, removed components of the pressure control system, and opened the isolation valves, resulting in a spill. The volume of spill oil was put at 27 barrels, affecting mainly the manifold grounds and part of the surrounding vegetation. The Nigerian equities market closed flat today with a marginal increase of 0.05%. The market capitalization now stands at 11.76 trillion naira. Kayode Alayode has more.
Hello and Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Key indicators at the Nigeria equities market ended midweek session on a flat note as the all-share index recorded a marginal increase of 0.05%. The key broad index stood at 34,529.46 with a market capitalization of 11.76 trillion naira. On the gainers list, the 7-Up bottling company took the lead with a 7 naira 85 kobo increase in the share price. Guinness Nigeria followed with 6 naira 1 kobo, while WAPCO added 2 naira 4 kobo. On the losers side, Nigeria Breweries shared 5 naira 82 kobo. Pharmaceutical giants GlaxoSmithKline followed with a 2 naira 81 kobo drop, while Stanbic IBTC lost 52 kobo. Bank stocks were the major contributors to market turnover, and UBA tops the list with 63.81 million units. When the closing gong rang, investors had exchanged 342.91 million shares valued at 3.49 billion naira in 5,500 deals. That's the stock market report. I'm Kayode Alayande.
Thanks a lot, Kayode. Well, that's Business News Tonight. The news at 10 continues in just a moment.
First Bank. You first.
Still ahead on the news at 10, boardroom row at the National Sports Commission threatens Nigeria's participation in the International Table Tennis Championship.